So, welcome all to Systemic Connection. This is the very first talk show which is about human development. In this talk show, we will be covering topics regarding personal, professional development, emotional development, skills, mental development, all regarding human development and well being. So, I'm very happy to have you all here. Today we have with us trainers, we have coaches, we have also HR professionals representing different companies in Mauritius as HR professionals. And today we're going to talk about our first topic in this talk show of Systemic Connection. And our first topic is going to be the value of self-development and the role of organizations in self-development. I would like to start with each of you very briefly introducing yourselves. Just describe yourself, who you are. If you would like to start.
Okay, I'm Angélique Delahogue, and I'm working in the NGO sector. And actually, through my non-profit company, we are really working on training and supporting NGO managers to develop their managerial skills and also to accompany the professional development of NGOs.
My name is Ariane Luti. I'm the HR Director at Total Energy Mauritius, and I'm very glad today to be with you guys to talk about self-development as it forms part today of our mission as HR professionals.
So hello, welcome everyone. It's such a pleasure to be with you. My name is Sandra and from New Beginnings, and really excited to be introducing this topic and to talk about such a beautiful topic with all of you. Thank you, Rita.
So my name is Wyman Ibn One. I work as the part of the New Beginnings team. I'm a coach and trainer and a lifelong learner, and it's such a pleasure to be with you all here today.
I'm Anushka Padu from Cementis Mauritius. I'm the head of HR, and I'm here to share my experience regarding the NLP course that we have been participating in.
I'm Natasha Virasamy. I'm the HR manager for PIM. In my role as HR, self-development, human development is a core function, and this is why I'm so excited to be here with you.
I'm Yannick Paul Gopal, donc head of human capital for Brand Active and Health Active within IBL. So HR professional, so with a very big experience in managing people. So of course, self-development is very important at every step of the journey for every individual, including ourselves.
Hi everyone, nice to be here with you this afternoon. I'm Jamil. I'm a business owner and founder of Actualizing Potential. I'm a trainer and a coach in self-development and self-mastery. So this topic is right next to my heart, and I'm so happy and glad to be with you here.
Great. So, the first topic I'm going to put on the table and leave it to you guys is, what does self development mean to you? What does it mean to you, Natasha?
For me, it's a personal journey. It's the decision to embark on a road of self-discovery first, because you first have to know who you are and take it from there as to what you want to achieve in terms of changes that you want to make to your own, be it your ego structure, yourself, your beliefs. So it's a personal journey.
Indeed, I totally agree with what Natasha has said. It is a personal journey, whereby you're gonna self-discover yourself, and also it's gonna help you to enhance your growth and reach a better version of yourself as a human being.
And how's it better version of ourselves? Is it the same for everyone? Jerry.
I think actually I really realized it was actually through a coaching training that I'm responsible of making the best of my life and giving the best and receiving the best too. And for me, self-development is really a two-way traffic. And it's really developing my own skills, relational skills, mental skills, intellectual skills, really to be able to be the best version of what I can be for now, and still work in progress. And through that, actually, I think I will be able to give the best to the community, and especially in my area of engagement, professional engagement, is really contributing to, for me, social justice is a very strong value. So, and there's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. who said that, I don't have the exact words of the quote, but actually he said something like, people who like peace must be as organized as performance of people who like war. So I really took this responsibility of being the best version as I can be to contribute to peace.
Very, very nice. Very nice. Anybody wants to give an insight about that? About self-development in their lives? Why is self-development something important, or do we consider it something important? Why do we have to self-develop ourselves? Aren't we good as we are?
Well, for me, I see the self-development journey as it's a journey that started from the cradle. When we are born, we are developing. Every day we're changing, and that's the only constant in life. We are all changing and developing whether we want it or not. The question is, what are you changing to? Where are you moving towards? Is that something where I have decided? Am I engineering my future life? Am I designing it? Is it moving in a way that I want it to be? Or is it just like happening by chance, or by whatever my surroundings want film for me, whatever the country, whatever the culture will decide for me, and that will just be me without me having to say anything about me. So self-development is a journey. Everybody will go for it. You will develop, you will change. But will you impact that? Will you take charge of it and take it to a destination that you want? Is a question that everyone will ask us at some point in our life. And this is the moment that we wake up, when we realize that we can choose where we are going. We can choose what change we will allow to happen onto us, and what change we will say no, and where we want to go.
So, Jamil, I really like what you said, and Raquel, to add to that question. The experience that I've had, I think that self-development comes in stages. As Jamil said, you're always doing it, and it's the change you want. And how do you do it? I think are stages. And the first stage for me is awareness. Because if you aren't aware of where you are at now, what do you want in your life, and how to get there, you can't develop yourself. So it needs to you need to first stop and say, awareness. What is the awareness that I have? And once you gain awareness, you can go into the next stage, which is feeling comfortable in your own skin. What do I need to do that I can feel comfortable in my own skin? And the awareness that you bring through that then allows you to answer that question of, what do I want in my life? All this time, my cultures, my parents, my teachers have told me what I should want. What do I want? And I think that at that moment is when self-development starts, is when you're then able to say, okay, what do I want, and what are the changes I need to make? Not what the world needs to make, what are the changes that I need to make so that I can be who I want to be. And you know, in many ways, that's, you know, besides everything that we've heard today, you know, linking to that moment, as you said, Jamil, that decision choice moment, that you're ready for that.
Yeah, and I would like to add on that, saying that when you reach that self-awareness, sometimes you feel lost. And when you get to talk about it with the right people, you get to get the tools and the skills required. And then when you have that, are you ready to leave what's not good and learn things that you learned from the past to grasp what you've got from either training, mentoring, coaching, and better yourself for the future. I think that's very important also. Because if you may reach that awareness that you don't want to change, and it must really be a willingness from that person to change and move on in their self-development journey.
Ariane, you said something that's so important, which is what Ryan and you were talking about earlier on before we started, is, you know, being around the people that they do that. You know, and you were saying something really special about how you experienced it.
So one thing that I've realised, and I think Robert Keegan also referred to this, is that we all do image management, and that is our second job, whether we know it or not. And it's only through awareness that we realise that we are image management. And when you realise you don't have to image management, that's when you realise that maybe you don't fit in certain groups. And so that was a real awareness to me. Yeah.
And also, if I can add, is that when you're talking about self-awareness, at some point in time, you will realize that you're catching yourself. You will tell yourself, oh no, maybe I have to be less judgmental, maybe I have to see it from another perspective and go in depth and tell myself whether I am seeing it in the right way or not. So this is very important when we dig into further into self-awareness and we allow ourselves to catch ourselves and to take another turn out of it.
So you tell me that we need to be more conscious, more aware, to be better for ourselves, to become better decisors of our own life. Is that it? So in this becoming better, taking better decisions in our life, this awareness that we need to acquire, this consciousness, is about what? Many people can be worrying, can be asking themselves, I want to be more conscious, but conscious about what? Like the imaging thing you were saying. What skills are part of this?
I think it's the ability of analyzing yourself. It's that you take two steps backwards and then you reflect on yourself and you analyze and you question yourself. This ability is very important. Be able to re-question yourself and to see.
Just to build up on that, is to take a step back yourself, also be receptive to feedback, because we all have blind spots.
Exactly.
And if you are able to receive feedback, that could be so valuable.
Yes, and also in the trainings, mainly I'm thinking about the coaching essentials with the perceptual flexibility. So being able about one situation in which you are directly involved, to take another position of the other person, and even to take a third position of an observer, and even like even a bigger bird's eye view of the situation. So really exploring and experimenting different perspectives give an awareness and a better conscience of ourselves and of the situation. So I think that to be more conscious is also to be conscious of our limiting beliefs, of our the meanings we put behind some words and some concepts, and really to challenge that and to choose whether it still suits us or not, actually. And
And Angelique, I love what you said because the question Raquel we asked was, what are the skills? And you're right, as I'm listening here is, and I remember, how we all did the training not so long ago, is the skill of perspectives, right? The skill of awareness, which we spoke about earlier. And now what you're bringing in is the skill of perspective, of having that skill, because it is a skill. That if you can be taught on how to do it, like we do it in the training, but if you don't have that skill, you limit that landscape of being able to see reality for the
Different
infinite
Yeah.
lenses that you can get. So I really like that. That is such an important skill to have.
Yeah, because maybe you think that you're looking at reality the way it is, but reality it's not the way it is. To put a bit into context, as a part of human development, something that plays an important role as it's the Master of New Beginnings here, it's neuro-linguistic programming and how this NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, can help with the model that it shows, what you were saying, Angelica. It shows how, as human beings, we are all the time maybe deleting information from others or just distorting reality, generalizing things in a way that we maybe, as human beings, we are dogmatics and we have egos. We may be thinking it's beneficial for us, but maybe to take a step out of that and look it from a different perspective is more beneficial to our own aims, actually. So how is beneficial in your lives for yourselves? For example, professionally and also personally, if you want, this neuro-linguistic programming model that you have learned with your beginnings, or how is beneficial in your life?
Raquel, answer it and bring to self-awareness at the same time.
Yeah.
It's interesting you talk about NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and there's a presupposition in NLP which is for me fundamental to self-awareness, is the map is not the territory.
Amazing.
If the territory, reality, if someone believes that reality, what is out there is the same, what I'm seeing, that's real, that's the truth, there's no other versions of it, you cannot be self-aware. There's no room for awareness. Once you make the difference that reality and my map of reality may be different, what am I seeing? What am I perceiving that is not really out there, but I'm creating in my mind? Or what have I deleted from reality to create my own version, my own map? Just like Google Map. Google Map doesn't show you everything that is on your way. I was coming here.
But we think that.
It will not show me every single building, every single
Right.
trees. It has to delete things to make sense. Our brain do the same. So once we get, this is for me the first level of awareness. How are you representing in your map the reality that is out there?
And,
So,
and
yeah.
you brought the nice thing is NLP presupposition. I'm really curious to know which was one of your favorites, and do you remember, because that is the number one presupposition, principle that you need to believe in to be an awesome leader, an awesome coach, an awesome parent, these set of beliefs. So any other ones that you liked and you related to that you can remember?
For
I'm
me-
really curious.
For me, it's there's no such thing as failure, and it's only information coming to you. And if you interpret it as information, the emotion's gonna be different. But if you interpret it as failure, then it's another level when we talk about emotions as well, you know. And to add up, when you were saying that how, from an HR perspective, the distortion of information, how people have a tendency to delete, distort, and very often from an HR perspective, we do our business is people, so we deal a lot with information coming our way. So when you do NLP, it clicks in your mind, maybe the information is not, maybe it has been through a sort of distortion. It's up to you to take a stepping back on this, and then you analyze so that you don't be judgmental, so that you be fair. So just to add up what you said.
Yeah, I think also totally relate to what we just said. In fact, we as HR, we often have the tendency, even as human beings,
Exactly.
to have the tendency to see things from our own perspective, and more often have the tendency to say that it's the responsibility of others to develop themselves, to change their way of seeing things, change their perceptions. But I really think that being aware and making the conscious decision of starting by us, together with others, will bring much more impact on any decision that we take, any course of action that we decide. Because down the line, it's different way of saying things which will bring a better result.
So another supposition that I really like, it was really like eye-opener for me, and because before really engaging in the training of NLP and self-development, I was really like, okay, living my life, reacting to some things that come up and reacting to what people tell me or what people expect from me, and of course I took some decisions, but it was not really owned decisions. And one presupposition that really quite amazed me was whatever sets the frame controls the game. And if I wanted to have like some power on my own self-development and on where I want to go, so I need to set the frame and the proper frames and question also the beliefs or the frame I had until now. And so that was quite like changing for me.
For me, it was resistance, showing the lack of rapport, and in our position as HR, especially, we are met with a lot of resistance to change, resistance to new work methods, resistance to culture change that we want to bring. And the key to it is building rapport, in wanting to bring that change, and in wanting to, first, it's establishing rapport. And it's such a, for me, when I read that presupposition, it was such an easy thing, because we feel like, of course, yes, there's no rapport because
So easy.
it's so easy,
But it's not.
but it's not. Exactly. So it was really an eye-opener in terms of, how do I build rapport? What are the prerequisites as an HR practitioner? What are the prerequisites for me to establish rapport? And I brought it to a second level. Even for me as a mom, how do I build rapport with my children? How do I maintain rapport with my children as we evolve, as we grow up? So yes, that's a presupposition that is very key to my role as an HR person.
Lovely. I also like if someone can do something, then it's a human possibility. I think also me as an artist, artists have a lot of responsibility, I think, in the world, because they're great leaders and influencers. And sometimes you think, no, this person is already doing that, I cannot do the other thing, I'm never going to achieve that. But if you can model excellence and then like kind of reduce tasks into little chunks and continue doing something, then if somebody did something, then it means it's a human possibility, it means you can also do it. And I like the way NLP empowers you to do things in your life.
I think for me, the one that strikes me and is probably connected to all of this one is the element of the system that has the most flexibility, has the most power. And for me, that what that means is that this openness to unlearn, for you to learn something different, for you to make a change.
To be flexible. Exactly. Because you cannot be systemic if you're not flexible. Yes.
I agree with Imam and then Jamil also. These were the two that picked and talked to me. And then, like, while you guys were talking, I also thought about the one that people are broken. They were perfectly well together. So that one is powerful one also in our role as HR practitioner, HR people. And so many things happen in our organizations today, and just having the awareness that people are just broken.
And this helps us also to change perhaps some mindsets that we say, okay, we have to fix this person. Of course, we don't have to fix the person. We can support, we can bring help, we can bring tools, but we don't have to fix the person. And for me, it really put people to the same level. We work sometimes in organizations where there's quite a big hierarchy, and I think it's important to get the levels back that we are in the same level of human relationship, and we don't have to see people from high and to, okay, I need to fix him, he's not working well, or he's not doing the good thing, I know what to do, and really to get humble and to get to any people level.
So could you tell me as HR?
What was it for you?
You know which one I really love? I mean, all the presuppositions have such beautiful meanings that you could actually take each one and do a practice for a month on that. The one that I remember when I first did it, that really got to me was the meaning of my communication, is the response I get. Because very often I thought, well, if I said it, they understood it. You know, and understanding that very often I may say things and think the person is getting what I'm saying, and they actually got their own map going on, so they could be offended, they could be, and if you aren't pacing that, you can miss such a great opportunity for fixing or solving a possible miscommunication. So I really like that one.
And it happens so many times that people, and us also, just think about the intention of the person, and so many conflicts have asked from this situation that, okay, he told me that, so I suppose that he had this intention, or people supposing the intention we have. So what I really try to do is it really need to be practice, and then to be something more natural. Is before starting a sensitive conversation, to set the highest intention and to say, okay, so my intention for this conversation is that, and it really helps.
And yes, exactly. And because sometimes even in simple situations, I remember with my daughter, you know, I could ask a simple question like, "How was your exam today?" But how she would be interpreting it is, you know, am I telling her that I hope you passed? You know, so that's her meaning to. And if I don't pick on those little nuances, you miss an opportunity to actually say, I don't care if you passed or failed. I just want to know, how was it for you? How did you do it? But if we don't, you know, watch that body language, that's when, you know, it's so powerful. And like you said, the intention can be valid, but you can have so much miscommunication in our lives. And that's why the NLP skills for me were powerful, because it teaches you not only how to influence others, but how to be more mindful of the reaction and possibilities through other people's.
That's very interesting. So you're telling me that the role of language is also very important. What is the role of language in here for this thing that Angelica was saying? The role of the language you use with others, because the misinterpretations are there every day, in marriages, in work, with your kids.
And the language is not only verbal language, it's also all the signals that we can they perceive, and we really develop the skills also of observing the body language and observing and the eye movements and giving us fuel to understand what's going on for the person. Yeah.
So one of the things I'm really curious, and especially because we've got this group of HR professionals in the field of and coaches, trainers that are in the field of developing people, is what are the biggest challenges today? What are the challenges that we have as an industry, as a people, a group of collective interest group people? What are the challenges out there that we face in bringing this to organizations in practice and application? So I'm curious to hear that. What are the challenges that you're facing? So you spoke about one, the budget, which is always absolutely the having that. What other challenges? Because that in itself can help. What are the other challenges that we face?
I think the main, for me, the big challenge is about time, the relationship with time. So very often you would face that, are we willing to give the amount of time that is required, and to be patient, and to know that sometimes it's just not a quick fix. And to allow every individual to walk along the journey, the pace that the person is ready, the pace that the person has reached in terms of being self-aware and is keen to do some self-development. So everybody is at different moment of their journey in life and of the journey in development. So and it goes into everyone has their own perception of would it be X amount of time, or are we willing to devote time to that, or do we have other priorities in life? Like very often we say, could it be shorter? Could it be that we can do it on our own spare time, and I forgot about it, and we will do it after. So it's a big ingredient, and I think really taking the time to focus on very critical things is very important.
And as I'm hearing you, the two things that come to mind. So it's the challenge of making time for this type of development. And secondly is, I suppose, being patient or staying with it, because like you said, it's not a quick fix. It goes deep and it's fast once people achieve it, but that learning period takes time, you know. So it's having the patience to hang in and persist with it, and not having quick fixing, because I think that's where HR's changed. 10 years ago, we wanted a skills training and priority and a mind map change and all the different types, time management. Today, I think, or it is changing in some organizations, is to have a longer period of true development that is longer, does take time, but when it gets really wow, then you've got a group, you've got a culture change. So, yeah.
I think one of the biggest challenges also is about motivation and the motivation of the leaders and also of the staff actually to get involved in training and especially in this type of training that engages you and really sometimes stretches you out of your comfort zone. So people are not especially comfortable of getting stretched and of getting new training propositions outside proper technical skills, you know, and I think it's also the belief of the leaders of what is the value of this type of training, and so I think yes.
So we've got money, time, and motivation. So let's make it that list, and then we can say, how do we? What can we do as an accountable group of people who are passionate about people? What can we do about these challenges, right? So we've got time, money, motivation. Anything else?
I think what can the HR people do, if you can lead by inspiring the people You know, they will know that you've been through the NLP course and they notice a change. This will inspire them because you walking the talk. You're just not okay. I've followed NLP and this is what the course was about. But if you put in practice whatever you have learned, this gonna make a difference. If you walk the talk and you inspire others with your own behaviors, they will know how you were before you attended NLP and how it has changed. So basically it's about that. Inspiring.
Inspiring. So how do we do that?
I mean, by working on ourselves, adopting the techniques, and really moving towards our self development.
And showing the change.
Showing the change.
Being the example of that change, of that self-development, of that self-awareness, of taking accountability, of growing ourselves, being the example of this.
Being the role models.
Yeah. Like Gandhi's quote, be the change.
Be the change.
So that's definitely one. And how do we influence upwards? Because we've got to influence downwards. When we influence the people and motivate the people to attend, we've got, as you said, and I love that, being the role models of change. And how do we influence upwards? How do we influence the people at the top?
For me, the people at the top are influenced by the changes that they would see that would bring value in terms of how does my workforce react in terms of better productivity? Are they better engaged? What does it, as an output, what do they get out of it? So self-development as a goal must be able, we must be able to show and to reflect on that. How does self-development achieve that output of a better engaged workforce, of more productivity, of better industrial peace? How do we achieve that?
Well, you've hit it on the nail, because if we want the top people to support us, it's our role to show them that value and that benefit. And I think this is where, with the New Beginnings, I love the systemic part of it. So as HR, how can we be more systemic? Because sometimes when we're doing HR, we've got so much to focus on. We're focusing on, as we were talking earlier on, the servicing the people, payroll, all the other little administration roles and the supportive roles we give. So we focus so much on that very little time is spent on the strategic side. And what you say now, Natasha, is the strategic side. How can we be more strategic in saying this is the value, and how can we do that in bringing that value aligned with what the result is? So I like that.
And if also the top managers can also experience the training or part of the training too, so that really they have this experience of the value and of the training. So I think it would be the best.
How do we do that? How have you managed in your organization to bring the people at the top to the training? I mean, Janique, you and I did that once.
Yes.
And it was amazing, right? And we thought we would never be able to do that.
Yeah, that's true. I think very often we've got some perception where leaders can be afraid about neuro-linguistic, and we would say like the map is not the territory, and they would say what is all that Greek speaking about. and indeed, if I can share at one point, what do leaders want? They want to be better leader. All of them want to be better leader. And the trick was naming the title being becoming a better leader. And everybody was saying, yes, me, I want to go there. And then when we started the training and the listening, and they said, what is that? We're talking about some concept, perception, and everything. But then down the line it was mind blowing because to realize that yes, maybe right from the start we use the word we want you to go on to nego-linguistic or any other words that maybe that they didn't hear about it or if they already had some perception about it. So as we said earlier, we talk about language. So very often we need to build rapport for the language. So and see what really we talk to them and know that and take the chance that we can really influence the course of their development.
So I love what you're saying because what I'm hearing from you is number one is using the language because that is, as you said and Wyman, you just pointed to that, changing the frame, right? If you can change the frame, you're going to get a different game. So and it's been interesting with this training, how many times we've had to change the frame. We haven't changed the content, we haven't changed the skills, we've changed nothing, but we've changed the frame and it makes such a huge difference. And the interesting thing is because now there's different audience in the room, the training changes again because people have applying it in a different way, seeing it in a different way. So that was beautiful. The other thing that I remember in what you said is bridging that mind, the gap between knowing and doing. Sometimes with leaders, because they're smart, they've had experience, they know, so they learn very quickly. So when you're going through the skills, they learn the skills very quickly. And in fact, the bingo game was introduced or developed through one of the times that we did it because when you get leaders and you spend 4 days and you teach them all the skills, they all know that, but they don't necessarily can explain it until you get them come to the top and explain. You guys did it. Raquel, you were one of the winners. When you come up and you've got to explain something you know but you don't quite know, that's when you see, okay, there's a gap there. So we can maybe learn from that and how can we use those ideas into bringing more leaders in the room, as you said. So that's a big one.
And hearing her reminds me of, I forgot which training it was, but you were showing a clip from Inside Out movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where if you want to influence, you have to meet them. I think it was sadness.
Yes.
You have to meet them where they are,
Yeah.
and then you bring them with you. So this is probably
Very nice. So you were telling me basically that self-development is not a recipe that I tell you this, and then you self-develop. It's more like a journey, like in this kind of NLP trainings, what you do is go into the roots so that you can actually self-develop and develop skills. So for finishing this talk show today, I'm going to go back to Ariane's, my friends here, words, saying people are not broken. One of the presuppositions of NLP, people are not broken, they are perfectly fine. So what is the message that you would like to give to the world, that the world needs?
my message would be get on board the journey. Wherever you start, with whoever you do it, it's secondary for me right now. It's get on board the journey. Whether it's a book for you, for me, I started by Dale Carnegie's book. That was the first book that opened my mind to this world of self-awareness and self-development. So wherever you start, but know that when you're ready, the teacher will appear for you. So are you ready to embark on this journey?
So just building up what Jamel said, I totally agree. And when you embark on it, it's scary, it's uncomfortable, but I always say that the rewards are amazing. So just go for it, even if it's scary.
For me, it is a life-changing experience, and I would recommend everybody to go for it.
For me, it's a message to those who are ready to embark on that journey of unlearning whatever we've learned till now. It's just the start of a road.
Yeah, and even what you find out during the training, if it doesn't suit you, you can really choose to take whatever you are ready for, and then so we can always choose and choose again. So it can be like, okay, wow, life changing, but I want to change my life. So you choose what you want to take away from the training, and according to what Jamie said, to where you are at, and but just give you a chance.
For me, I would say that it's mind blowing when we start on that journey. And I would pick up on what Jamil said when I was ready. Jacques and Raymond, just cross my road. So the teacher comes along when you are ready. And then, it gets scary at the beginning, but then it's like mind blowing, and you just become so self aware, and your life changes. And I would say that that's what's important, because you take whatever you want to take, and you just change your life.
Yeah, I think that we should seize the opportunity to do it, because down the line very often we tend to say that what is there more for me to learn, or what is there more for me to discover, but life is just a long journey of discovery, and it's really I felt very lucky to be able to see so many techniques and so many skills just wrap up in a nice way, which is really appropriate for every situation of life, be it in the life of a mother, a parent, wife, colleague, manager, or even in my everyday life as a person. So yeah, as I relate to everybody, it's really mind blowing, and it's really an exceptional experience.
I guess my message is, wherever you are in your life, to ask the very first coaching question is, what do you want? You know, you could be we are all in different stages of our lives. So where are you in right now in the stage you want, and what do you want more in your life? And really reflect on that, because through that question, I know it did for me, it brought so many other questions and a lot of answers. So that would be my message is, what do you want in your life?
So thank you, all of you, very much for bringing your perspectives about the value of self-development. Thank you for being here in this talk show about systemic connection. And I'm just gonna say goodbye. Thank you very much for coming. And you, what are you doing for developing yourself?
Woo!